Good morrow, scholars. Welcome back to Stormfront, Book 1 of the Dresden Files. I like that I forgot the title. Anyway, so I checked ahead. This one's kind of a short chapter, and normally I'd be inclined to read the next one because it's not that long either. I don't believe. Let me check just to make sure. Let's see, it starts on page 230, ends 238. So maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm not too sure. We'll see. Anyway, we are in chapter 18, page 224. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully. Have you ever felt despair? It's a great way to start the day. The camera's over there, but I always look this way or that way. Absolute hopelessness. That makes me think of a deck in Yu-Gi-Oh! Have you ever stood in the darkness and known, deep in your heart, in your spirit, that it was never, ever going to get better? That something had been lost forever, and that it wasn't coming back? I miss freedom. That's what it felt like, walking out of the varsity, walking out into the rain. When I'm in turmoil, when I can't think, when I'm exhausted and afraid and feeling very, very alone. I go for walks. It's just one of those things I do. I walk, and sooner or later something comes to me. Something to make me feel less like jumping off of a building. So I walked. It was pretty stupid, in retrospect, walking around Chicago late on a Saturday night. I didn't look up very often. I walked and let things roll around in my head, my hands in my pockets, and my duster, which flapped around my long legs while the light rain gradually plastered my hair to my head. I thought about my father. I usually do when I get that low. He was a good man, a generous man, a hopeless loser, a stage magician at the time when technology was producing more magic than magic. He had never had much to give his family. He was on the road most of the time, playing rundown houses, trying to scratch out a living for my mother. He wasn't there when I was born. He wasn't there when she died. He showed up more than a day after I'd been born. Sorry. He gave me the name of Free Magicians, then took me with him on the road, entertaining children and retirees, performing in school gymnasiums and grocery stores. He was always generous, more kind and more generous than we could afford, really. And he was always a little bit sad. He would show me pictures of my mother and talk about her every night. It got to where I almost felt like I knew her myself. As I got older, the feeling increased. I saw my father, I think, as she must have, as a dear, sweet, gentle man, a little naive, but honest and kind. Someone who cared for others and who didn't value material gain over all else. I can see why she would have loved him. I never got to be old enough to be his assistant, as he had promised me. He died in his sleep one night. An aneurysm, the doctors had said. I found him, cold, smiling. Maybe he'd been dreaming of Mother when he went. And as I looked up at him, I felt suddenly, for the first time in my life, utterly, entirely alone. That something was gone that would never return. That a little hole had been hollowed out inside of me that wasn't ever going to be filled again. And that was how I felt that rainy spring night in Chicago, walking along the streets, my breath flew into steam, my right boot creaking with every step, dead people occupying all of my thoughts. I shouldn't have been surprised, I suppose, when after hours of walking, my steps carried me back to Linda Randall's apartment. The police were all gone now, the lights all off, all the gawking neighbors cozy in their beds. It was quiet in the apartment complex. Dawn wasn't yet brushing the sky, but somewhere, on a window ledge or in a rooftop nest, a bird was twittering. That's kind of funny. I was at the end of my strength, my resources. I hadn't thought of anything, hadn't come up with any brilliant ideas. The killer was going to get a spell together to kill me the next time he had a storm to draw on. and from the way the air felt, that could be any time. If he didn't kill me, Morgan would certainly have the White Council set to execute me at dawn on Monday. The beef was probably out lobbying votes already. If the matter came before the council, I wouldn't stand a chance. I leaned against the door to Linda's apartment. It was striped with police line, do not cross, yellow and black tape. I didn't realize what I was doing until I had already worked a spell that opened the door, unfastened the lowest strip of yellow tape, and walked into her apartment. This is stupid, Harry, I told myself. I guess I wasn't in the mood to listen. I walked around Linda's apartment, smelling her perfume and her blood. They hadn't come to clean up the blood yet. The apartment manager would probably have to handle that later. They never really show you the details like that at the movies. Yeah. I eventually found myself lying on the floor on the carpet next to Linda in her large bed. I was curled on my side, my back to her bed, my face toward the sliding glass doors that led out into her little concrete patio. I didn't feel like moving, like going anywhere, or doing anything, unless it had all been useless. It had all been useless. I was going to die in the next 2 days. The worst part was that I wasn't sure that I cared. I was just so tired, exhausted from all the magic I'd had to use, from the walking, from the bruises and the punches and lack of sleep. It was dark. Everything was dark. I think I must have fallen asleep. I needed it after everything that had happened. I don't remember anything else until the sun was too bright in my eyes. I blinked and lifted a hand against the light, keeping my eyes closed. Mornings had never been my best time, and the sun had risen above the tops of the buildings across the street. Sorry about that. What was it? Cheerful springtime sunshine that dashed down through Linda Randall's curtains and through my eyelids into my brain. I grumbled something and rolled over, face to the cool darkness under Linda's bed, back to the warm sunlight. But I didn't go back to sleep. Instead, I started to get disgusted with myself. What the beep are you doing, Harry? I demanded out loud. Lying down to die, I told myself petulantly. Like hell, my wiser part said, get off the floor and get to work. I don't wanna. Tired. Go away. You're not too tired to talk to yourself, so you're not too tired to bail your butt out of the alligators either. I was just thinking about alligators. Did you guys ever watch Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated? Man, I love that show. What was I doing? Oh. Open your eyes, I told myself firmly. I hunched my shoulders, not wanting to obey, but against my better judgment, I did open my eyes. The sunlight had turned Linda Randall's apartment into an almost cheerful place, overlaid with patina of gold, empty still, to be sure, but warm with a few good memories. I saw a high school yearbook lying nearby, underneath the bed, several photographs serving as bookmarks. There was also a framed picture of a much younger Linda Randall smiling brightly. None of the jaded weariness I had seen in her in evidence there, standing in her graduation robes between a kind-looking couple in their late 50s. Her parents, I assumed. She looked happy. And lying just on the edge of a stray little beam of sunlight, one that was already retreating as the sun rose above the edge of the buildings, a small red plastic cylinder with a gray cap. Wait a minute. My salvation. I snatched it out from under the bed. I was shaking. I shook the canister and it rattled. A roll of film was inside. I opened up the canister and dumped the film into my hand. The plastic, I don't know if it should be liter or letter, had been retracted into the case. There were pictures on the film, but they hadn't been developed yet. I closed the film up again and reached into the pocket of my duster and drew out another canister, the one I'd found at Victor Sell's lake house. The two were a match. My head spun around, taking off down a whole new track. An entirely new realm of possibility had opened up to me, and somewhere in it might be my opportunity, my chance to get out of this alive, to catch the killer, to salvage everything that had started going wrong. But it still wasn't clear. I couldn't be sure what was going on, but I had a possible link now, the link between the murder investigation and Monica Sell's aborted inquiry into the disappearance of her husband, Victor. I had another lead to follow, but there wasn't much time to follow it. I had to get up, get on my feet, and get going fast. You can't keep a good wizard down. I stood up, grabbed my staff and rod, and started toward the door. The last thing I needed was to get caught trespassing on a crime scene. It could get me arrested and stuck in holding, and I'd be dead before I could get bail. My mind was already rolling ahead, working on the next step, trying to find this photographer who had been at Victor's beach house. Oh my goodness. Getting these pictures developed and seeing if there was anything in them that was worth Linda Randall's death. It was then that I heard a sound. It stopped. It came again, a quiet scraping. Someone turned the key in the deadbolt of the apartment's front door and swung it open. Okay, since it's only about 12 minutes into the video, I'm going to go ahead and read chapter 19, since it's only about 7 pages long. So, yay. Man, I'm tired. I don't know why. I mean, I woke up at a decent time. I went to bed at a decent time. Oh well. There was no time to flee beneath the bed or into the bathroom, and I didn't want to be limited in mobility in any case. I leapt forward and stood behind the door as it opened, keeping very still. A man entered, slim, short, harried-looking. I wonder if it's going to be Victor. His hair, a listless shade of brown, was drawn back into a ponytail. He wore dark cotton pants, a dark jacket, and carried a pouch on a strap at his side. He shut the door most of the way and looked around with great agitation, but like most people who are too nervous to be thinking clearly, he was seeing less than he should have been, and though his head swept over where I would have been in his peripheral vision, he didn't notice me. He was a good-looking man, or so it seemed, with strong lines to his jaw and cheekbones. He crossed the room and stopped short when he saw the blood-stained bed. I saw him clench his hands into fists. He made a strange, cawing little sound, then hurried forward to throw himself down on the floor by the bed and start pawing underneath it. After a few seconds, his pawing grew more frantic, and I heard him curse out loud. I slid my fingers over the smooth surface of the film canister in my pocket. So, this mysterious photographer looking inside of Victor Sell's lake house was here looking for the film. I had a feeling in my stomach like I get when I finish a particularly difficult jigsaw puzzle. A peculiar satisfaction mingled with a touch of smugness. I can relate to that. I settled my staff and rod silently into the corner by the door and flipped my official police consultant's badge, complete with my photograph on it, out of my duster so that it showed against the black canvas. I covered my ratty old t-shirt with the coat. I hoped that the man would be too rattled and nervous to notice I was wearing sweatpants and cowboy boots underneath my duster. I kept my hands in my pockets and pushed the door shut with a little nudge, so my boot, with a little nudge of my boot. There we go, sorry. And just as it closed, said, "So, returning to the scene of the crime. I knew we'd catch you if I just waited." The man's reaction would have had me rolling in laughter on any other day. He jerked, slammed his head against the bottom of the bed, yelped, drew himself back from the bed, turned to look at me, and all but leapt back over the bed in surprise when he saw me. I revised my opinion of his looks. His mouth was too pinched, his eyes too small and too close together, giving him the intent predatory look of a ferret. I narrowed my eyes and stopped toward him one slow pace at a time. Just couldn't stay away, could you? "No," he said. "Oh, jeez, you don't understand. I'm a photographer. See? See?" He fumbled with the case, I decided to produce the camera from it. Taking pictures for the paper. That's what I'm doing. Just trying to get a good look around. Save it, I told him. We both know you aren't here to take pictures. You're looking for this. I pulled up the film canister out of my pocket and held it up to show it to him. His babbling stopped, and he stood stock still, staring at me, then at the canister. He licked his lips and started trying to say something. Who are you? I asked. I kept my voice gruff, demanding. I tried to think of what Murphy would sound like if I was downtown with her right now, waiting for her to ask me questions. I look weird on the camera now. I looked weird before. Wise. Donnie Wise. He swallowed, staring at me. Am I in some kind of trouble? I narrowed my eyes at him and sneered. We'll see about that. Do you have identification? Sure. Yeah. Let me see it. I speared him with a glance and added slowly. He goggled at me and reached for his hip pocket with exaggerated slowness. With one hand, he drew out his wallet and flipped it open to his driver's license. I stalked toward him, snatched it, and studied it. His license and picture agreed with the name he'd given me. Well, Mr. Wise, I began, this is an ongoing investigation. So long as you give me your cooperation, I don't think that we... I looked up at him to see him peering at my name badge, and my voice trailed off. He jerked his wallet back and accused, You're not a cop. I tilted my head back at an arrogant angle. Okay, maybe not, but I work with the cops and I've got your film. He cursed again and started stuffing his camera back into his bag, clearly meaning to leave. No, you got nothing. Nothing that connects me to any of this. I'm out of here. I watched him start past me toward the door. Don't be so hasty, Mr. Wise. I really think you and I have things to discuss. Like a dropped film canister underneath the deck of a house in Lake Providence last Wednesday night. He flicked a quick glance up at me. I have nothing to say to you, he mumbled. Whoever the heck you are. He reached for the door and started to open it. I gestured curtly to my staff in the corner and hissed my best dramatic voice. Again, I can't really emote. I'm going to move real quick. Go forward. A little bit better. Vento Servitas. How many times has he used that in this book so far? I think this is the third time. Anyway. Jerking my hand at the doorway, my staff, driven by tightly controlled channels of air moving in response to my avocation, leapt across the room and slammed the door shut in front of Donnie Wise's nose. He went stiff as a board. He turned to face me, his eyes wide. My word, you're one of them. Don't kill me, he said. Oh no, you've got the pictures. I don't know anything, nothing. I'm no danger to you. He tried to keep his voice calm, but it was shaking. I saw him tilt his eyes up the glass sliding doors to the little patio, as though calculating his chances of making it there before I could stop him. Relax, Mr. Wise, I told him. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm after the man who killed Linda. Help me. Tell me what you know. I'll take care of the rest. He let out a harsh little laugh and eased a half-step toward the glass windows. I'd get myself killed? Like Linda? Like those other people? No way. No, Mr. Wise. Tell me what you know. I'll put a stop to the killings. I'll bring Linda's murderer to justice. I tried to keep my voice soothing, even fighting against the frustration I felt. Heck, I wanted to rattle him, but I hadn't meant to scare him so badly that he wanted to jump through a plate glass sliding door. I want these people stopped just as badly as you do. Why? He demanded. I saw a little contempt in his eyes now. What was she to you? Were you sleeping with her too? What? I shook my head. No. She's just one more dead person who shouldn't be. You're not a cop. Why risk your butt to do this? Why go up against these people? Haven't you seen what they can do? I shrugged. Who else is going to? He didn't answer me, though I held up the film canister. What are these pictures, Mr. Wise? What is on this film that was worth killing Linda Randall for? Donnie Wise grabbed his palms over his thighs. His ponytail twitched as he looked about the room. My goodness. Where was I? His ponytail twitched as he looked about the room. I'll make you a deal. Give me the film and I'll tell you what I know. I shook my head. I might need what's on here. What's there isn't any good to you if you don't know what you're looking at, he pointed out. I don't know you from Adam. I know 2 Adams. I don't want any trouble. All I want is to get my butt out of here alive and in one piece. I stared at him for a moment. If I traded him, I'd lose the film and whatever was on it. If I didn't and he was telling me the truth, the film wouldn't do me any good. The trail had led me here to him. If I didn't dig up a lead somewhere else, I was dead. So I snapped my fingers, letting my staff rattle to the floor. Then I tossed him the film underhand. He dropped it, and I stooped to recover it. He dropped it and stooped to recover it, studying me warily. After I get out of here, he said, we're quits. I've never seen you before. I nodded. Fine, let's have it. Donnie swallowed and ran a hand back over his hair, giving his ponytail a nervous little tug at the end of the motion. I knew Linda from around. I'd taken some pictures of her for a portfolio. I do shoots for some of the girls around town. They want to make it into magazines, most of them. Adult magazines, I asked. No, he snapped, nervous still. Uncle Abner's magazine for children. What? Oh, of course adult mags. Huh. What? I don't know anymore. Nothing really classy, but you can make some good money even if you're not Hugh Hefner's type. So on Wednesday, Linda comes to me. She says she's got a deal for me. I shoot some pictures for her, give her the film, and and she's real nice to me. What? All I have to do is show up what she says, shoot a roll through the windows, and go deliver to her the next day. So I did, and now she's dead. Out in Lake Providence, I asked. What? I'm confused. Yeah. What did you see there? I asked. Donnie Wise shook his head, his eyes drawn past me to the bed again. Linda, some other people, no one I knew. They were having some kind of party. All candles and stuff. It was storming like heck. A lot of thunder and lightning, so I couldn't really hear them. I worried for a while about someone looking up and seeing me in the lightning, but I guess they were too busy. They were having relations? I don't know. I said, no, he snapped. They were playing canasta. What is canasta, anyway? What? Of course. The real thing, not fake stuff on a set. Never mind. Anyway. Let's just continue. Anyway. Linda, some other woman, 3 men. Terrible joke. And can you describe any of these other people? He shook his head. I wasn't looking, but they weren't being too particular, if you take my meaning. Turned my stomach. What? Did you know what Linda wanted with the pictures? He looked at me and then snickered, as though I were extremely simple. Geez, buddy, what do you think someone wants with pictures like that? She wanted to get leverage on somebody. Heck, it wouldn't hurt her reputation if any of the pictures of her in the middle of a party got out, but it might have some of the people with her. What kind of simp wannabe cop are you? I ignored the question. What are you going to do with the film, buddy? Buddy. Anyway, he shrugged. Trash it, probably. I saw his eyes flip from side to side, and I knew he was lying to me. He'd keep the film and find out who was in the pictures, and if he thought he could get away with it, he'd try to weasel whatever profit he could out of it. He seemed the type I trusted, and I trusted my instincts. Allow me, I said, and snapped my fingers. Fuego. The canister's grey lid flew off in a little whoosh of flame, and Donnie Wise yelped, drawing his hand back sharply. The red canister burst into flame on its way to the ground and landed there in a crumpled, smoking lump. He stared at the film, then up at me, his mouth gaping. Okay. Wow, this ended up being a lot longer a chapter than I thought it would be. I hope I don't find out you've lied to me, Donnie, I told him. He went white as a sheet, assured me that he hadn't, then turned and fled out of the apartment, knocking loose 2 bits of police tape on the way out. He didn't close the door behind him. I let him go. I believed him. He didn't seem bright enough to make up a story on the fly, as rattled as he'd been. I felt a ferocious surge of triumph, of anger, and of the desire to find this person, whoever it was, who was taking the raw forces of life and creation and turning them into the ends of destruction, and to put him in the trash with the rest of the garbage. Whoever he was, or she, murdering with magic, killing people by degrees with the 3-eyed drug, he was someone I wanted to put down. My brain lurched into gear now that there was something to work with, some other possibility for tomorrow morning than me dying in a variety of gruesome ways. Linda Randall had been planning on blackmailing someone. I took a staggering mental leap and figured it was Victor, or someone at his house during the party. But why? I didn't have any pictures now, only the information I'd gotten from Donnie Wise. I couldn't afford to wait around. I had to pursue the lead he'd given me, if I was to get to the bottom of this and find out who had killed Linda. How had I managed to get into all of this trouble in only a few days? It really only has been like 3 or 4. Maybe 5, I'm not sure. And how in the world had I managed to stumble across what appeared to be a complex and treacherous little plot by chance out of the house in Lake Providence on a separate investigation entirely? Simple answer. It hadn't been an accident. It had all been by design. I had been directed there. Someone had wanted me out at the lake house, had wanted me to get involved and to find out what was going on out there. Someone who was nervous around wizards, who refused to give out her name, who had carefully dropped phrases that would make me believe her ignorance, who had to rush out quickly from her appointment, and who was willing to let $500 go just to get me off the phone a few seconds faster. Someone had drawn me out and forced me into the open, where I had attracted all sorts of hostile attention. That was the key. I gathered up my staff and rod and stalked out the door. It was time to talk to Monica Sells. Dun dun dun. Okay, wow. About 6 minutes longer than I thought it was going to be. Intriguing. What's up, buddy? I should feed Iggy before I start reading the next book. I think I will. So, don't let me forget 2 chapters in that one. In that one. I don't know what horror movie I'll watch today before work, but yeah, I think I'll watch another Scream movie. I watched Scream 2 yesterday. Anywho, let me know what you guys think. Do you think she's the one that was doing all this? Is it her husband? I'm kind of surprised I didn't even think about her at all. Anywho, let me know your thoughts. If you have suggestions for mine and Mega's series, be sure to let me know down in the comments. And until next time, goodbye everybody. I am still really tired.